I wish I could say good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, but no, I'm sitting here after Tuesday night's loss saying good morning. It is 1:11 a.m. out here on the East Coast, and the Royals just finally, mercifully, lost their series opener against the Tampa Bay Rays 5-1. Let's go ahead and talk about it. But first, if you wanted a place to stay awake while you waited through the weather delay or stay informed on when the hell they were going to come back from the weather delay, the place to go is RoyalsReview.com. You could also follow the podcast on X or on TikTok for updates there as well. And listen, this was... I don't even know how to summarize this game. Truthfully, Ryan Lefevre, as the broadcast concluded tonight, put it best, just saying that the Royals got outplayed by the visiting Rays in every facet of tonight's game. They're not a whole lot to be excited about. You know, not a whole lot to write home about. MJ Melendez had a good game in the lineup. But when MJ Melendez and his 3-hit performance is accounting for half of your total lineup's hit total, that's not good. That is not a good night. Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt with his solo shot, and CJ Alexander. Those were the only 3 players who got a hit tonight against the Rays. And by the way, congratulations to Alexander, who finally logged his first career MLB hit. Make sure you go put that one up on the shelf. I was always very happy to see that ball get rolled back to the dugout to make sure the player gets that special memento. But they were really just stifled before the bats. They were quiet before and after the weather delay. Like there's not a whole lot in that facet you can blame on the weather delay. Granted, Witt's 13th home run of the season comes in the bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. I mean, if you go and you look at some of the numbers, they didn't leave a whole lot on base. Well, because they didn't get a whole lot of batters on base. No walks tonight, and only those 6 hits. Yeah, nothing really good from the batting department. Let's go ahead and go look at the pitching, which, you know what, Brady Singer has been getting less and less run support as the season goes along. He did his part, especially leading into a weather delay. 5 innings of 3-hit, 1-run ball. He did walk 3 batters. It struck out 4, and you know, it's hard to complain when your starting pitcher goes out and gives a good chunk of the game, and it's only 1 run. Like, that leaves your team in the hunt for the win. Now it was a pretty messy game from the guys behind him, though. John Schreiber, Chris Stratton, Carlos Hernandez, and Nick Anderson coming in relief of Brady Singer. Between all 4 combining for 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts of their own across 4 innings. It's not good. And Carlos Hernandez, he was the only one who didn't have an earned run. But frankly, that was pretty dang lucky. All right, he got himself into a bases-loaded 1-out jam and thankfully worked out of it. But wow, that got the blood pressure going. John Schreiber did allow a run. Granted, it came off of not off of Brandon Lau. That was Nick Anderson who gave up the Brandon Lau home run in the top of the 9th inning. I mean, for what it's worth, the Rays were only 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Like, they weren't great tonight either. But when you go and the Royals, they walk 6 batters and allow 9 hits, that's not a big margin for error. Everything else has to go right. Namely, your bats have to carry the load. And they did not tonight. There's not a whole lot to love about this game. And now if you go on Spotify, check out our Q&As and our polls. I asked y'all after our full-length episode from last night, how many wins do you think the Royals are going to get in this 3-game set against the visiting Rays? 88% of you said 2. That is still within the realm of possibility. And 2 more games to go in this series as the Royals look to secure another series win on the homestand. But they just got to go 2 more wins in a row against Tampa Bay, which Tampa Bay got it done tonight in all facets. You gotta give it up and give credit where it is due. But this was a very frustrating game to watch as a Royals fan, not only because of the weather delay, not only because of the performance, but primarily because, taking 3 out of 4 against the Guardians really rejuvenated the fan base. Really got a lot of people invested again, and rightfully so, when you take a decisive series win away from the AL Central leader. But they didn't follow it up, and hopefully they hit the showers tonight and they rinse away today's game. They rinse away the strange firework residue just hovering above the field tonight. I don't know if y'all saw that on the TV broadcast. It was a little weird. Hopefully they just move along. I know I will. It's too early in the morning for me to really care that much about a loss. If you want to hear from who they scrounged together in the post game, I know we're going to hear from manager Matt Quatrero. I'm sure that we will hear from Brady Singer and possibly Vinny Pasquantino. But you'll have to go find those clips on our X account at Royal Rundown Pod. That is RoyalRundownPod. Or the link is down in the podcast description below. I am going to go hit the showers myself, and I am going to go to bed. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, y'all. My name is Jacob Milham. I do appreciate your support wherever you're listening at, whether it be Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, or any other place under the sun. Just make sure that you rate and review the podcast. Give us a 5-star review. It really helps out the podcast. Or just follow and subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode of the Royals Rundown Podcast. From all of us here at the Royal Rundown Pod team, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, go Royals!